listeners.
Chatty Chappies.
Here we are again.
Chatty Chappies.
Chatty Chappies.
Chatty Chappies.
Chatty Chappies.
Brian and Andrew on
Chatty Chappies.
Thank you for turning on Chatty Chappies.
Zoom Pass.
We need
Vroom, vroom.
bigger wheels, higher gears,
Yep.
and let's go for it. So, the first car that I wanted to talk about is this one here. Now, this is a Jaguar, isn't it?
That is the Jaguar XKR, which, to put it in the timeline of sports Jaguars,
Yep,
you had the Jaguar E-Type.
yep.
It was followed by the Jaguar XJS
Oh, yes, I remember that.
and the Jaguar XK8 came after the XJS.
Okay,
So that's what we're looking at here.
and that's this one here.
Mid-1980s coupe or
Yep,
soft top convertible.
Knee roof.
Knee roof, which is the one you want.
and is it a blue colour? Blue
It,
shade?
I think it was a black
Black.
with a hint
Yeah.
of, and I think it was green. It was a black hinting towards green.
Now, there was two cars together,
There was
wasn't
two
there?
Jaguars
In fact,
together.
let's see if we can see the other one.
And the other one is the
That's the green.
XK Saloon,
Right.
which was a version of that colour known as British Racing Green,
British Racing Green.
which there is no actual definitive
Yeah,
colour.
yeah. There's lots of different ones.
There's variations of British Racing Green,
Yeah.
but that's Jaguar's British
That's-
Racing
that's-
Green. And very nice it is too.
It is, yeah. And these both these cars, the colours were excellent,
Yeah.
and the condition.
Oh,
The engine bay is clean
Yeah.
as anything. Really lovely looking cars. And now there was this thing
So-
about the supercharger was on the saloon, yes.
no, on the
other one.
on the XK8.
It was the other one, right? Yeah.
So this is a Jaguar's supercharged V8,
Yep.
and I can't remember what size it was, but I'm going to take a stab at 5 litres. It just on the
Yeah.
manifold, it just says supercharged V8. And of course, the difference between supercharging and
Yep.
turbocharging.
No, carry on.
Turbocharging kicks in at certain reps.
Yep.
So for the boy racer, you know
You put the foot down.
You put the foot down, slam it down 2 gears into third, and hammer the foot down, and the revs go through the roof with the and the turbocharger kicks in and gives you that boost.
Yeah. So it's like blowing the air into the engine to make it more.
What a turbocharger is, it puts more air in on the induction stroke.
Mm-hmm.
So more air goes into and then on the compression stroke, it compresses and
Yep.
the spark ignites the fuel.
Yep.
And because there's more air in there, you get a better burn. The fuel burns better.
Yes.
So you get more power, pushes the cylinder, the piston down,
Yep.
and you get that bit more boost. Yeah,
Yeah. Two nice Jaguars.
two nice Jaguars.
Yeah, two nice Jaguars.
Supercharged, however, is slightly different.
Yeah.
That air going in on the induction
Right.
stroke is happening all the time.
Okay.
The supercharger is putting air in, so you don't get that sudden kick because that power's there the whole time. It just keeps on giving
Right.
all the way up through the.
So the turbo then is being used more when the foot's on the throttle because
When the foot's
draw-
on the throttle and the gears in lower gears, so you have to get the revs up.
Yep.
Whereas with a supercharger, you just put your foot on the accelerator.
It's there, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know.
Yeah.
So when you're driving your Jaguar, your Gentleman's Club on wheels,
Yeah.
you don't have to behave badly.
Right.
You can just, you know,
Yeah.
or if you wish, you can always behave badly, whether you're at the traffic lights or at, you know,
Or wherever. Yeah.
you're always going to get that extra power.
So just to refresh the memory, we were in Cromarty Park car park,
Cromarty Car Park
Dingwall?
In Dingwall, yeah.
and this was a Saturday last month, and we were looking at cars, and this is program 3, and we're looking now at the Elf,
This is the Riley Elf.
Riley Elf. Yeah.
This was British Motor Corporation, BMC, as they had become. You had all the small British motor companies. And what the Riley Elf is a variation of the Mini. And everybody will have seen one. If you don't know what it will look like a Mini,
Yep.
but it's got a little boot sticking out the back.
Oh yeah, it's got a tail. Yeah.
It's got a tail. Okay.
And that's a nice model of it.
That is.
And this is a 68.
68
And
F-Reg.
yeah.
And it's got a... I'm not going to try giving you the registration district, but it's a JSA. So those of you who remember your number plate regions,
Yeah.
SA.
Yes, listen, it'd be quite good to do a program on registration.
We have, in fact.
Can we
I
take
have
a wee
got-
note?
We
Yeah.
will, and sometime we will get round to a history of the motor vehicle registration
Okay.
in the United Kingdom
Yep.
by L.H. Newell,
Right.
and this is the definitive book
Right.
about the history of.
Registrations.
If it's
Excellent.
not in here, don't even bother looking. Okay. And one of the great myths it busts is the nonsense that you sometimes hear, especially if you're playing Trivial Pursuit.
Uh-huh.
What was the first registration number in the United Kingdom?
And it was.
Nobody knows. But the answer to that question is always A1.
Uh-huh.
It's not.
No.
Okay.
Right.
And when we do that program, we'll explain.
We'll get
why.
the whole story.
Yeah.
Right. I'm looking forward to that.
So anyway,
So,
we're digressing again, but here we've now got
It's a supermodel of the
Morris
Minor.
Minor,
Yep.
and this is a pickup.
Pickup. Yep.
It's based on probably what would have been the Morris Minor Traveller
Yes.
or the Morris Minor van. And if you're up close and personal with a Morris Minor Traveller,
Yep.
have a look at the roof. Just behind the doors,
Yep.
you will see a seam that's filled with a rubber strip.
Okay.
And if you're ever restoring a Morris Minor Traveller, you will soon discover what a godsend that is,
Oh.
because everything aft of that comes off.
Ah, right.
Okay,
So this Traveller that we're seeing just now,
you can take it apart.
it's just like a pickup with the bit stuck on
You
the
could,
back.
you could, if you wished,
Mm-hmm.
change all of it to either a pickup body, or a van body,
Yep.
or restore it as a Traveller.
Yeah.
And if you got a pickup or a van and you wish to turn them, either of those, into a Traveller, you could do it. And you could do it relatively easily.
There's another nice model.
There's a lovely model there.
Yeah.
And the wonderful thing is that all the body parts, all the body panels and everything are still available brand new today. The wood kit and everything.
It's interesting, isn't it, that we've spoken to a few people over the summertime, and they've all said that in particular models you can get every part you want.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it would lead you to think, can I build a brand new one?
yes. And we know there might be a bit of an issue in terms of getting it registered and such like, but
It theoretically is
it's
possible.
possible, yeah.
And it would be one of those things that it would be worth costing out first, and that because it would not be cheap.
Okay, so I spoke to someone in the last fortnight.
Did you?
Yeah, and he's a mechanic, and in Croy.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Oh yes.
just I've forgotten the name of the business.
But they do deal with
Yeah.
Wild Track.
That's it. That's
Wild
it.
Track, yeah.
Yeah, and we were talking about
Restoring Land Rovers.
yeah, restoring. And I said to him, look, is it possible? How much would it cost, ballpark figure, to build a Defender from scratch? And the figure was out of this world. It was crazy.
Into like what?
Quar-
200,000,
Yeah,
300,000?
$250,000.
$250,000. That
Yeah.
is a lot of money.
A lot of money. And
But,
and it's the panels,
yeah.
yeah, and axles, 8,000 each.
Yeah.
You know, so
Because those are very, very specifically highly engineered
Yeah.
pieces of kit. You know, the rear axle
yep,
of a Land Rover Defender or Land Rover whatever model, whether
Yeah.
it's a Series 1 or Series 2,
yeah,
it's got a diff and it's got a diff lock.
yep,
The front axle has a diff because you've four-wheel drive, so you've got a diff on your front axle and a diff lock, which stops so that if you put the diff lock on, both wheels on that axle turn exactly the same speed.
yes,
Yeah. So there's a lot of engineering in that. Whereas if you were doing it with a Morris Minor,
yes,
you only have the rear axle
yes,
with a non-diff lock
yes,
differential. It's not going to cost quite as much as that.
yeah.
But
Well, maybe someday we can.
so
actually,
there's a beautiful
Yes,
Series 1.
yes, and I think we've got a picture.
It's-
Yeah, look at that.
and the engine.
bay.
Aye.
Aye.
We didn't see the guy to have a real chat with him about
No,
this,
no.
but it's either a Land Rover V8 or it's a Rover V8,
Yeah.
but it's beautifully restored.
The plumbing in that was excellent.
It's fantastic.
I don't know if you'd noticed, but there was actually brass fittings.
There was.
You did, yeah.
I did notice that.
Lovely. I'm not so sure about the colour.
Not so sure about
Yeah.
the colour. You can't say you wouldn't,
No.
you didn't see it.
Yeah.
But you know, to each to their own.
And moving on.
And moving on,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. We're nearly finished.
we've got this wonderful military vehicle,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
Land Rover 101,
101
forward
forward
control.
control.
which, if you don't know what forward control means, the driving position is above and slightly forward of the front wheels. So
Yeah.
forward control because you were controlling it from being in front of the front wheels.
We could do a programme with them.
We could do a program on them
Yeah.
just by themselves.
Yeah.
And
What a nice car.
And then for our next program, which will be our last car program, yes,
Uh-huh.
we'll talk about the Austin A35 that we saw, which was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
it was
And
brilliant.
that's another one.
And
Another programme.
one, and we've got to throw in a few tractors as well.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks,
vroom,
Andrew.
vroom, bye-bye.
Vroom vroom. Yeah.
You were listening to another program of Chatty Chappies.